So we have American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. And I don't usually like movie scenes or movie references on book covers. But this one actually is pretty decent. If you blurred out the face and made the whole figure black, it would have been just the same. It's it's elegant in its own way. But let's get down to the book. And this one is pretty thick. Uh, of course, the movie is scrumptious. I prefer the movie, obviously. But what really impressed me, what really stood out to me, is this book's attempt at showing you that these type of people and these type of people that not they don't have to occupy these high positions in society. They could be nobodies. These people, this book tries well and successfully to present us that these people are absolutely empty on the inside. They are not all there. They are not human beings as we understand it. And one of my favorite scenes is in the movie, the beginning, the intro, where this guy, he goes through his morning routine, extremely eccentric, precise, mathematical, overly obsessive about his own personal well-being and care, which it's not a bad thing per se, but when you go to the lengths that this guy goes to, you got a problem. But that's not what I want to talk about. He stares in the mirror, and this is just done wonderfully in the movie, where this guy has this mask on his face, this to help his skin, and as he pulls it off, he does this incredible monologue as he's peeling off the mask or the layer of skin, and he says, there's this idea of a Patrick Bateman, but truthfully, there's simply no one there. Simply, there's no one at home. And that is just so wonderful. It speaks volumes. That's brilliant writing, because it says and shows a lot without just writing page after page about it. In those few paragraphs, you immediately understand who this guy is, what he is all about, and you shouldn't trust the luxury and the magnificence and the luxury that is presented here, because it is a facade. It is a facade. These people, they are absolutely barren of inner resources. And of course, Patrick Bateman is the apex in this novel, but the other people he works with, with which he comes into contact with, they are lesser variations of this archetype. Now, of course, he is at the top, and the rest are a couple of levels beneath, because, of course, they are not killers. They are not this maniacal. But they also have psychopathic traits. The first one being, of course, that absolutely nobody listens to anybody. They just talk and talk, but they don't register anything. Patrick Bateman could say absolutely anything, no matter how horrendous, and it's just they don't register it. And he says some fucked up shit, and they just shrug it off like it's nothing, and it's just superbly done, right? There's a lot to learn here, not only about human behavior, conduct, thinking mentality, but also psychology, and what society is even today, because we all come into contact with these people that you just want they just want to be listened to, and if you just intervene and maybe you say something about yourself that's haunting you, that you have trouble with, they just don't listen. They act like they listen, but there's nothing registers, right? You can tell them anything. You can tell them you want to hang yourself, and they just don't respond to it. There's no actual reaction, or they just shrug it off like, "You'll get over it, Bubba." But anyway, uh, yeah, this book is done in a very special way, and one criticism that I have, I know why the author did this. There's a lot of descriptions about clothing lines, about fashion. He's wearing this, she's wearing that, the ties, the sunglasses, the shirts, the shoes, the belt buckles, the jewelry, and of course the epic scene with the, what do you call them, those business cards, right? That in the movie it's just like, it's a delight to watch, because even in real life, it's not to this insane extent, but I have seen people that they just go bananas when they just find out that you have, maybe you have a better car, maybe you've done something with your life, you've accomplished something, and they just boil with this almost irrational hatred that you've accomplished something. It's like, calm down, bro. It's not that serious. You'll get there. This is not a competition, but of course, in his mind, in the psycho's mind, everything has to be a competition. Everything has to be about status. If somebody is better than you, then you gotta eliminate that person. If somebody is lower than you, then you have to rub it in their face. That's how it's done. Because these people they lack a lot of things. One of which is emotion, but and compassion. But what they don't lack is, I don't know how to say this. They don't lack this irrational, almost deranged idea of themselves that they are better in some way, that they must overshadow everything else. The fact that there might be somebody out there with better shoes, they just fucking lose their shit. They cannot handle it. And I have seen this shit. I have seen this shit. People who buy something, whatever, and the reaction is, it's like, how can these people just, how dare they? Don't they understand that they're beneath me? I'm gonna get a bigger car. I'm gonna buy even a more expensive house, and so on it goes. And it's just, wow, it's something to behold, you know. And I think all of us, in some way, have met people that are kind of like this. They have these traits that are, maybe in some way they are helpful. You can attain certain things. You can do good things in your life, but they take it to the extreme. It's an extreme ego thing that they depend on, because that's what they have. That's the only thing they have. They have no emotion. There's nothing in them. They have no compassion for anybody or anything else but themselves. To them, nothing else exists. Anything can happen, no matter what tragedy uh, and unfolds before them, if they are not if it does not affect them personally, then they just shrug it off. And I mean, it could be a disaster, a cataclysm, and they just don't blink. It doesn't matter to them. And this book showcases this very well, right? With the famous business card scene where everybody's like, bro, you think your business card is legit? Check out my shit, bro. And everybody's like, bro, that gloss, that lettering, bro. It's like, it's the same fucking card, bro. It's the same fucking card. I don't see the difference. I don't know. Every time I got a business card, bitch, I threw that fucker away into the trash. It's like nobody cares about your business card, bro. Grow the fuck up, right? You're being immature. Nobody cares what suit you're wearing. I don't care that your fucking wallet is made out of antelope skin. I don't care. Nobody cares. But in their world, that's all there is. It's just status. It's just being on top because that's the only satisfaction they get. That's the only thing that gives them pleasure. And of course, even in the sex scenes, I mean, this guy is aroused by the image of himself. He doesn't care about the people he's doing it with. And I've seen, listen, we have all done it. I watched some porn, and I know like 2 times out of 10 videos, there's this guy that flexes in a mirror, right? In porn videos. I've seen this shit. And I know some of them are for a goof, they're a joke. It's just a prank, bro. Chill out. But some of them, they're serious. Okay, they're serious. This is a disease, and it is prominent in different variations. Okay, this book is not a joke. This the author has a deep insight into the mind of this archetype. All right, and they're everywhere. And despite the crazy, dull descriptions of clothing and whatever, some of the music descriptions in this are hilarious, of course, and the movie version is better. It's hilarious, but after a while, it gets dull. It's like, I've seen this. You've done this plenty of times. It's just like a one-trick pony, right? This is all they can do, right? They can't talk about something that's not rigidly uh, pre-planned, something that's spontaneous. They cannot handle that. They can't tolerate it. And that's why this book is a work of art. It is brutally in sync with what these kinds of people, how they are, their essence. It's just astounding to me that this author managed to do such a thing. It is a labor. It is a feat, an incredible feat to create something like this from your imagination. And of course, I'm sure he had a lot of inspiration. I've met people like this, not to this extreme, but they're out there, boy. They're out there. Ooh, right? And it's just so haunting. I mean, the ending of this is like, this guy just loses his fucking marbles, bro. It's just like he has hallucinations of killing people. He kills people in real life. He has like these over the top action movie hallucinations, like he's going full Terminator. Some of them are real, a lot of them aren't. He's losing his mind. He doesn't know what real and what fiction is. He can't tell the difference by the end because he's just so trapped in this little bubble of just murder, business, and he doesn't work. He doesn't know what work is. He just goes to the office and reads a fucking magazine, and he can't even maintain the attention to read a magazine. He just draws or sketches fucked up shit on the fucking magazine. That's just how far gone he is, right? Nothing interests him but the depraved part of humanity, right? Nothing else interests him except what is evil or deranged or perverted or absolutely appalling, right? And there are people like that out there. And the ending where he just confesses uh, to his lawyer, I think, and he's laughing and crying at the same time. Is like, I killed a lot of people. I'm fucked up, And he even reveals, he's also a cannibal, and he's disgusted with himself, and at the same time he's just like he's almost elated by it, but by what he has done. It's a paradox, really. This is just one of those novels that after putting it down, you're like, what the fuck, right? This is just dark as fuck, bro. Right? And throughout this book, it's like he tells people, bitch, I kill people. He's just like, I'm fascinated with Ed Gein and Ted Bundy, and people are like, who? Huh? Who's that? I don't know. And he tells them his fantasies, and he's so direct and so nonchalant. And the people around him are just fucking zombies. They're robots. They don't even fucking. They're not. They're not listening at all to what this guy is saying, right? Not even. They don't catch a fucking hint that this guy is a fucking monster. A pure blood fucking devil. Right? And that's what makes it hilarious and absolutely absurd. Brutal book. Brutal book. And that's pretty much American Psycho. I could talk all day long about this book. This book is a masterpiece for the subject matter that it puts on so masterly almost. Because not a lot of people can do this. Other authors, they try to present this archetype, and they just fail. They're one-dimensional, but this is just, this is one of a kind. In the end, he even says, he even realizes that, he might be a monster, but the people around them, they're even worse. There's something else that he cannot understand, because he confesses outright, I did it. And they're just, bro, you're joking, bro. Right? And he says, my confession has been totally useless. It is pointless. I am trapped in this. Right? And that's pretty much it. This book is yikes. This one is a big yikes. But you should read it, because it shows you that, you don't have to go into a book to meet a monster. Sometimes they're just outside your window, right? And you never knew. You never knew.